Welcome to the Cardinals Caravan Show. I'm your host, Lisa Oligas. In this hour, you'll get to experience the visit by the St. Louis Cardinals to the Missouri Southern State University campus. The Cardinals Caravan was a fan-filled experience with up-and-coming players, Cardinals alums, and Fred Bird. And of course, a chance to get autographs from Cardinals rising stars Lars Nootbaar, Zach Thompson, and Gordon Graceffo, as well as 2006 World Series team member and current scout Randy Flores, and Cardinals pitching alum Alan Bennis. The Cardinals Caravan visit began as the bus arrived to the Missouri Southern State University campus, and the players were greeted by University President Dr. Dean Van Galen and his wife Mary Van Galen. Hundreds of fans filled Young Gymnasium, where Fred Bird arrived to big cheers and posed for pictures. Fans were then given the chance to ask players questions. Here's Caravan MC Tom Ackerman with the discussion.
I'd like to now welcome the 11-time world champion St. Louis Cardinals. Yes, absolutely. Starting with a pitcher that joined this team in 1995, and in 1996 he was their Rookie of the Year. His 13 wins in 1996 were the most by a Cardinals rookie since the World Championship season of 1967. 8-year Major League career. Please welcome Alan Bennis. Part of the 2006 World Championship team, an 8-year Major League career that saw him appear in 200 Cardinals games as a relief pitcher. He is part of this front office as Director of Scouting, Randy Flores. Joining this organization when he was drafted in the 5th round in 2021 out of Villanova. All he did in a year's time, the 2022 season, has become our minor league pitcher of the year. Please welcome Gordon Graceffo. He is the first Cardinal to wear uniform number 57 since the death of pitcher Darryl Kyle in Chicago in 2002. And in his Major League debut in Chicago, Wrigley Field, a 4-inning save, only the 8th pitcher in Major League history to do that in a debut. What a pitcher he is, lefty Zach Thompson. Gentlemen, last year he played in 108 games. He started 66 of those in right field, 11 in center field, 2 in left field. He began the season on the opening day roster, and he was the leadoff hitter on the postseason roster. He is outfielder Lars Nootbaar. Gentlemen, these are the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's hear it for them. We are going to have a little fun up here. I will ask a few questions of the gentlemen, but we also, as I understand it, have some microphones roaming around for you. So I want you to locate where those are. By the way, how could I possibly forget the biggest star in the room? Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Fred Bird! We will have some microphones for you so that you can ask a few questions. We'll give you that opportunity, but we want to make sure with such a big crowd here that you all have the opportunity to get an autograph. So to do that, we'll make sure that we have it moving fast. We'll be there right here for you to guide you along, but we'll make sure that we get you to that as soon as possible. Guys, let's start. I think we should start with our Director of Scouting, Randy Flores, a member of this front office. How sharp does he look right now in his suit, ready to go? And Flo, just your thoughts on this ball club as we head into 2023 with some big stars in the infield, outfield, and on this pitching staff.
Look, obviously, I think there's so much to be excited about, and I say that, and that's knowing that Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols are no longer in our team. That's just a weird thing to say, right? But to be excited about that, because we are so excited about the infusion of young talent that we have up here. I think you guys are going to be really thrilled watching our new catcher, who we got from that other organization north of us. I think that there's going to be excitement seeing Adam Wainwright, the stability of the last 2 decades. And let's not discount a prior young phenom who's now a veteran, who's going to be healthy for us in Jack Flaherty. There's just so much to be excited about. We can't wait to get started.
It's well said. And Lars, I mean, you look at this team, what do you see? And what do you see for yourself in 2023?
Yeah, obviously, like Phil said, obviously we're losing Albert and Yachty, and that's going to be, big. But, I think Wilson's kind of cut from the same cloth as Yachty. He's the ultimate competitor. He's a fiery guy. I'm looking forward to never having to face him again. No, I think, these guys are the right of me. We're kind of a young group, and so I think we bring a lot of energy. A lot of us got a lot of playing time last year, so we're going to be a competitive group. We still have the MVP. We have Nolan Arenado, who's all right too. So we're pretty excited about this year.
Zach Thompson's a really good pitcher. You talk about depth in this organization, both as a starter and a reliever. He absolutely can bring it. He had some stretches where he didn't give up a run. He had a scoreless inning streak of 11 from July 1st to September 9th. Zach, you had a streak of 17 2/3 innings over 14 appearances without allowing an earned run over 3 months. Just how do you see yourself going into this season and some of the things that you're working on?
Just sticking to my process and taking things a day at a time, but we've got such great leadership on this team. I may not be able to bring it like Gordon, but just get up there and trick some guys, learning from the best, learning from Wayno, getting to spend time around Helsley and Gio, just the great guys we have on the staff.
Zach can spin a curveball with the best of them, I'll tell you that. And Gordon, as Zach said, can absolutely bring it. Graceffo quickly rose to the top of minor league pitchers as the pitcher of the year. He's the 7th ranked prospect in the entire organization. Gordon, just how do you do it? How do you dial it up into the upper 90s and 100?
It has a lot to do with the off-season training program that I've been put through. Can't thank those guys enough back in Jersey. But it's all hard work, preparation. I just haven't working out in the off-season. It's been huge for me.
It's been great to watch. And Alan Bennis, for many years, did it for the Cardinals and for other clubs, but it was special being a Cardinal. You grew up in Evansville, Indiana, which is Cardinals country, and you also were able to play with your brother Andy as a Cardinal. What an incredible run the two of you had.
It was great. Neither one of us would have ever thought that would be something that would even come in the future, but just sort of happened, and we picked him up, and I was just getting there, and what an amazing time to be able to be in the same starting rotation with your older brother. Got a great opportunity to learn from him. He had already spent 6 years as a starting pitcher in the major leagues, and so exciting times, and very fortunate to be a part of it.
You've spent a lot of time, Alan, in whether it's instruction or in an advisor role or in scouting. What do you see today out of these young pitchers, and what advice would you give them moving forward? Zach's already broken in, and Gordon's on his way.
Well, I did spend some time scouting, and I can tell you this, if I would have gone and seen these two guys out there, it would have been a good day for me, because especially knowing that they're in our uniform rather than somewhere else. It's amazing, these kids today, I call them kids, not to be offensive, these young men. It's amazing the work that they put in. They train more efficiently than we ever trained. They eat better than we ever ate. They spend more time doing things to make them better as an athlete that I think we used to spend. And it's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of hard work, and it's really rewarding when they get out there and they show that they've put that work in, and it's showing up on the field as it has with these guys.
You know, Randy, it didn't take you long to see greatness in Zach, both of you lefties, and Gordon obviously caught your eye as well. You've been in charge of drafting this team for quite a while. What do you see? Let's talk about the two pitchers first, and really just overall the pitching in this organization.
Well, look, the organization has a tradition of developing pitchers and bringing those in-house. And here are a couple of examples of us continuing to fight like heck to continue that tradition. With Zach, you just see someone who can spin the ball, an innate ability to spin the ball, and then who's at least as an amateur and continuing through his development, when his back is against the wall, the best comes out of him. When his back is against the wall, the best comes out. And I think that also reflects the personality and disposition of Gordon Graceffo, meaning it's easy to be on your game when you feel great in the first inning. It's easy to be on your game when you have command of all your pitches. But what both these gentlemen have, and what we continue to strive to seek, to follow the example of Adam Wainwright, who on a day where he doesn't have his best stuff, on a day, which is every day now, where he doesn't throw 95, he's still a rock and a core of stability, because he's able to do it and come back from adversity. And that's what these two gentlemen have. Plus, they throw really hard. That helps.
And then, Randy, you both spent time at USC. You know him well. Lars Nootbaar, the energy, the mentality that he brings to the Cardinals. It's even more than that, but let's start with that.
Look, you guys, I see a lot of kids here, right? And a lot of parents. I can imagine with Christmas in the rearview mirror, you still remember what it was like when they were opening up a present, right? When you wondered and you put time into it, and you felt you saw something as a family that they might like. And then you wait for them to unwrap that present, and you see that they enjoy it, and they're able to experience that thrill. I'm only saying that about a former USC guy, because USC is, I'm just kidding, about a ball player and a prospect. Look, scouting is like that. There's only one first round. There's only one for each team. But the Cardinals continue to try and aspire to find major league players who impact this team outside of that first round. And Lars exemplifies that as someone who is a later round draft pick, who isn't just organizational depth, but comes up, meets the moment, and is an impactful member of a major league division championship team. Lars Nootbaar.
Lars, what do you think when you hear that? And actually, what do you think when you hear the Newt cheer, especially here, but also at Busch Stadium?
Yeah, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It never gets old for me. Anytime that I step up to the plate and I hear that, it energizes me. I'm kind of a guy, I'm sure some of you guys may know, I kind of like bringing a little energy to the team, a little bit of fun to the team. And so whenever I get that reciprocated, it's awesome. And so I want to thank you guys, too, for bringing that every time. It means a lot to me. And just going back to what Flo said, there is only one first round, and I wasn't taking in it. So, yeah, thanks, Flo. I appreciate it, man.
Lars, you were a quarterback at El Segundo, and I know the football mentality is a special thing for you, but you chose baseball moving forward. Actually, I'm going to ask all three of you this question to close it out before we get questions from the audience. But what is it about baseball that meant a lot to you, and why this path?
Yeah, I think I grew up in a baseball family. My mom grew up in Japan. She was big in softball. My dad, played collegiately. My brother actually played at USC as well. Flo knows him, and he got drafted by the Orioles. And so I kind of grew up in a baseball family. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized that baseball is kind of a microcosm of life. And, every day you got to wake up and play the game, whether you feel good or you don't. You feel great. You just got to go out there and show up. And regardless of what that day feels like, there's always going to be a day tomorrow, another game tomorrow. And, you're going to go through ruts. You're going to go through times that, you don't really enjoy, or you're going to go through great times. And I think how you kind of weather that storm in the season is kind of how you weather that storm in life. And so I'm not sure that's why I picked baseball. I think I've kind of learned that over the years. But yeah, I just think it's helped me so much, and I'm very grateful for that decision.
What I love about our guys here is that we represent here three different parts of the country. Lars from the West Coast, Zach's from Indiana, representing the Midwest, and Gordon from New Jersey. Zach, how would you answer that question, your love for baseball?
Yeah, to piggyback off Lars, I grew up in a baseball family. Both my parents loved baseball. Just grew up in a good small town Midwest town where baseball was the thing to do. It was either baseball or basketball. And, for me, baseball, you didn't have to come from the right gene pool. Anybody can make it from any town. It really didn't matter what you came from. And like Lars said, just it's such a mental game. You get a new opportunity every single day. You're not playing once a week. You're playing every single day. And I love the challenge of it. And it's always stuck with me.
How about you, Gordon, being on the mound and pitching in a uniform?
Yeah, I think both these guys hit the nail on the head, but I kind of fell in love with the failure, and I fell in love with the mental aspect of the game. I think it's really, really rewarding when you kind of succeed at something that is so hard to do, and I just kind of fell in love with that part. And I mean, like they said, you got to play baseball. It's an everyday game. It's not like football where you have one game a week and you spend the week preparing. I mean, regardless of how you feel, you get out there and you got to play. And I mean, it's been what I've been doing my entire life, and I don't really know anything else. So.
That's well said for all the kids here. Where are our kids? Let's see. Hi, there we go. Let's hear it. Let's hear it for the Cardinals. I believe we have time for a few questions from the audience. Where are our microphones? I know we have some. Here they are. Anybody have a question for our guys? Any questions? Here we go. One right over here.
This is for Nude or Zach. Last year, getting to play with Yachty and Pujols, what was that like going through their last season? And I couldn't imagine getting to be with them every day.
Yeah, I'll let Zach speak on Yachty, but for me, for Albert, it was pretty unbelievable. Didn't really know exactly what to expect. Obviously, being a younger guy, I was pretty intimidated by him. But he welcomed me with open arms. He was awesome, man. I would joke around with him in the dugout, in the clubhouse, in the cages. But one thing remained a constant is that he was just a hard worker. I learned so much from him, asking him questions, but also just watching him, how he went about his business, how professional he was. It was really cool. And I said it yesterday, but I like to call him Albert just so everybody knows that I played with Albert and he knows who I am. And so like that, that's kind of how special it is, because I grew up watching him and playing him on a video game. And so for me to be able to be a teammate of his, and then he lived up to every expectation that I had of him and more, it was pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off Lars, Albert and Yachty they're cut from the same cloth. Those guys are legends in the game. We both grew up watching them play, and then to get to share the field with them, to get to experience their knowledge. Yachty is such a smart catcher, and it's such a great feeling when you're on the mound. You got a runner on first or second, and you don't even really have to worry about that guy because they're not going to run on Yachty. That guy's in charge of the game. He's a general back there, and both those guys are just incredible human beings. They were great leaders, great teammates, and it was a really special experience to get to share the field with them.
Good question. Special time for sure. Here's a question over here.
Okay, this is for Randy Flores. I wanted to ask what you saw in the 2020 draft of Jordan Walker, Tink Hintz, and Mason Wynn, I think.
Let's give that question a round of applause. I'm only saying that because, look, that's what makes the St. Louis Cardinals fans the best in baseball. How old are you, buddy?
13.
And he drops the name of 3 guys who aren't even in the major leagues. The Cardinal Nation here, the best fans in baseball, are informed and passionate. And I think that, look, this place, look at all these kids. Who's 10 years old and under? Raise your hand. Are you guys Cardinals fans? Yes, right? And that's a best Cardinals fan, so follow that example. If you can't be a baseball player, be like that guy, a super fan, all right? Look, but honestly, I appreciate the question. That 2020, as we all know, if we have any memory at all, was a really, really tough year, okay? So let's just acknowledge that. It was a tough year. But those gentlemen in a tough year left a mark on our scouts and our department. And when you make decisions in a draft, you make imperfect decisions. You're making guesses and bets. But those 3 gentlemen, if you guys ever get a chance to meet them, I think you'll find that those are the types of kids that you want to make bets on. And we hope that they continue to progress. This game is hard. Nothing is certain. But there's a lot of hope with those 3 young men. So thanks for the question.
I met Jordan Walker and Tink Hintz yesterday, 2 totally different size people, I'll tell you that. Walker is enormous. Right over here is a question I do believe. Here we go.
Do you collect all of you guys' baseball cards?
What was that?
What? Repeat that one.
Do you collect your baseball cards?
Do you collect your baseball cards?
I don't collect my baseball cards, but I do collect these guys. It's because one day they'll be worth a lot, so I'm going to have them sign the autographs and everything like that. So eBay, look out on eBay. You're going to see a Gordon Gustafo and a Zach Thompson card pretty soon on there.
Good question. There's one right here.
This is for Lars. How excited are you to get to play in the World Baseball Classic for Japan, and when do you leave?
So I'll probably head to Florida the first week of February, and then I think I'm going to head to Japan the first week of March. So first week of March when I get to go out there and experience it for the first time. Really excited. You know, obviously I think this year the USA is kind of bringing it, Dominican's kind of bringing it, and so if we make it out of that pool in Japan, we'll go to Miami and face those guys. And I just think in Japan and in Miami, it's going to be like playoff atmosphere, and so to be able to get that and then face the best of the best in March, I'm super excited for it. I think Japan, I think we're going to have a sneaky good roster and we might make some noise. But yeah, I just think being able to play against that top level competition early in that environment, it's something super exciting for me.
We got time for a couple more. Go ahead.
Zach, how fast can you pitch?
I like you. So I have once in my life hit 100 miles an hour, but I wouldn't say I consistently throw that hard. That's more Gordon's territory. But yeah, I've hit triple digits once.
That's a good one. Here's another one right here.
This is for Lars, but the first time you were up to bat, did you think you were being booed when everybody started the boo chant?
Yeah, I actually did, and I was telling somebody I debuted in Detroit, and so there was about 500 to 600 people in the stands there, so it was really rocking. And then I came to Busch Stadium after that, and as I'm walking up to the plate, I just hear a ooh, and I was like, man, tough crowd, geez, I know I did that bad in Detroit, but so yeah, once I figured out that it was the Newt, I was really excited, but yeah, I did think it was a boo for the first time.
Yeah, we got booed off the floor last night at Missouri State, and then we're like, oh wait, we just got nuded off the floor. Go ahead, last one.
Flores, this one's for you. What was it like to win the 06 World Series? I mean, how did you feel after you won?
I got to take off my front office outfit.
This is here, I got you. This is a baseball question, so we got to take the jacket off. Here we go.
Thank you. Look, I'm telling you, there is no better feeling in the world as a baseball player than doing a dog pile like a little kid in front of the home crowd fans, knowing that you're a World Series champion. It was unbelievable. I get goosebumps thinking about it. I really do. And I think that us and everyone here, from the front office to those who work game day, to those who aren't on this caravan, to those who are on other caravans, everyone who is a trainer, a clubhouse person, a coach, strength and conditioning, everybody is working so that the next team can experience that same feeling I felt in 2006. It's great.
There is nothing better, and there is a great chance that the St. Louis Cardinals are going to do it again. 2023, a big year upcoming. Let's hear it again for our guys.
After the Q&A, it was time for young fans to line up for autographs. More than 230 youth 15 and under would bring bats, balls, posters, and more to be signed by the big leaguers. Here's what some had to say about the big event.
I'm a baseball super fan, I guess. I love baseball. I play it. I know every Cardinal player, basically. And I know a lot about the minor league system because I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so I go to a lot of their baseball games. And when I was 9, I started watching baseball because of my dad, and it just introduced me to the game, and now it's my favorite thing in this world.
So, what did you have signed, and how important was this for you today? Tell me about it.
I was really excited, and it's really important.
It's really important? So where are you going to hang this?
In my room.
Yeah. So how long have you been a Cardinal fan?
A baby.
Since you were a baby? That's awesome. So what do you think of these players and what you heard them talk about today?
I think they are really cool.
Oh, this is really cool. We just moved back to Missouri from Florida, and so it was cool to, I mean, this is one of the things that makes us really excited about living in Missouri again, is being able to see the Cardinals. We're not real baseball fans, we're St. Louis Cardinal fans. That's all we watch. We love the Cardinals. Funny thing is, we have 4 daughters. Our last name's Bull, but we ended up with 4 daughters, and they all love the Cardinals. It's something that we do together as a family.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being here. What do you think about the Cardinals Caravan, them coming to town rather than making everybody go to St. Louis?
Oh, this is great to have them here in Joplin, to come here to see us, to take the time to come down here and spend time with us is really something special.
And what excites you about the St. Louis Cardinals?
Just everything, the players, their front office, everything they do, everything they draft, whatever they do, I'm happy for it.
It's fun, and it's a great way for the kids to start to feel a little connected to the Cardinals, and I think that's just a great all-American pastime that we all want to share with our families.
How long have you been a Cardinal fan?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I grew up in Arkansas, but I've always been a Cardinal fan.
This is an awesome event. I love that we were able to come out here and just hang out and meet Cardinals players. It's pretty awesome.
Born a Cardinal fan. And what's this baby's name?
Cooper.
He's 3 weeks old too, so yes.
Born a Cardinal fan.
Yes, very much so. Very much born a Cardinal fan, yes.
The Cardinals Caravan was sponsored statewide by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance and hosted by KGCS TV and Missouri Southern. We had the chance to get up close and personal with some of the players for some one-on-one interviews. Let's take a listen.
Hello, I am Oscar Campa. I am a student at Missouri Southern, and I'm speaking to Randy Flores, who is Director of Scouting. How are you today?
Good, Oscar. Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about scouting and what you do specifically with the Cardinals?
Yeah, so primarily for most of the year, my responsibility is running and operating our amateur draft. And so that basically encompasses going from Puerto Rico to every state that has talent that we might evaluate to be eligible for the draft. Additionally, I oversee the pro scouting department, whose job is to evaluate every player in the world, basically, who has a professional background. And so when you combine that, it's a year-round job trying to find talent for the next Cardinals.
And so when you're looking at some of these players, what stands out to you? What are some of the qualities that these, I guess, players might need for them to catch your eye?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it really depends. There's a certain threshold of ability you have to have. You have to be able to be strong. You have to be able to hit the ball hard. You have to be able to throw hard. But then that reaches kind of a critical mass, and all the people we're looking at have that. And so I think your question is, well, what stands out? And that's the hard part about scouting, is because it's very, very difficult to predict the future. But we are looking for people who are athletic. We're looking for people who have aptitude. We're looking, candidly, for people who love the game. And when you nail it and you get that right, it really is a fun feeling.
I noticed that you played at USC and you were kind of an ambidextrous player. Is that some of the qualities that you look for in players, or?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's a rarity to be ambidextrous. I'm not truly ambidextrous. I don't throw right-handed and left-handed, but I write and eat right-handed. I throw left-handed. I'm just an odd duck a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I think whenever you do find kind of an outlier in athleticism or an outlier in coordination, that does stand out and could be a tiebreaker.
And what are some of the main differences from college ball to the major league ball?
Oh my goodness. Look, you could argue that it's night and day, because it just gets harder and harder and harder. I'll never forget my first day in the minor leagues. I was at the lowest level of the Yankees minor league organization. We had 30 people on our team, and they were going to cut some of us because you could only take 25. But there were 7 other teams on the fields out there in spring training, and I just realized how many people are playing this professional game just for the Yankees. Then you add that there's 29 other teams. So it's just incredibly competitive, it's incredibly difficult, and those who make it, like the players that are joining us who either have on this caravan or will make it soon, it's a testament to their work ethic and dedication to get this far.
I noticed that you were bouncing around from teams when you were playing. What stood out to the St. Louis Cardinals for you, and what made it your home for you?
Yeah, the St. Louis Cardinals gave me my first opportunity when I became a minor league free agent. And what that means is, when you're drafted, you're beholden to the rules of baseball, which is until you have 6 years of baseball, you are inclined to stay with the organization that has you. So the Cardinals were the first team that gave me a chance as a free agent. And I was lucky enough to be with them in the minor leagues in Memphis in 2004. And one thing that they've done then that they continue to do now is that they reward performance. And I performed and got a chance with St. Louis and made a dream come true.
And I noticed that in '06 you won the World Series. How do you plan on bringing that same winning culture to the Cardinals right now?
Man, if I had it and it was in an answer I could give you right now, I'd give it to everyone already. But truly, I think the tradition of this organization is something that we all strive for. Our World Championship in 2006 reminds us of the championships and greats of earlier. And our hope is that the championships recently and the playoff caliber teams is something our future players strive to be as well.
And how do you think being a player in the MLB has affected you scouting? Do you think that has great advantages or what?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's two ways. Specifically in my role as a front office executive, being a former player provides empathy for what they're going through. You realize how hard the game is. The game is incredibly, incredibly difficult. And sometimes it's hard the further you get removed from the playing field to remember that those players that are struggling or aren't performing to their capabilities, that they're human beings also. They're not robots. There's ups and downs in career, family, life, personal stuff. And so knowing that, I think arms me well to remember how hard the game is and to have empathy when players are going through struggles.
I think that is all I have. Thank you for your time.
Outstanding. Thanks for having me.
Nice having you.
All right.
So where did it all begin?
So I was born in Cranford, New Jersey. Started playing baseball 6 years old. My dad kind of got me into it and then took off from there.
So tell me a little about Villanova. What during the recruiting process kind of swayed you over there?
So Villanova was actually the only scholarship offer I got during the recruiting process, and then once I took a visit there, just kind of fell in love with the culture there and just kind of had the campus and the coaching staff, and I'm glad it all worked out.
Mm-hmm. So that year, the year before that, they won a championship. What was kind of like the campus like? How was that?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was really excited from that, and then the Eagles also won a Super Bowl that year, so that was also crazy. But they were all looking forward to the next season, and we were fortunate enough to have some pretty good teams.
Mm-hmm. So they call you the flamethrower. Some of the people back at home. How does that make you feel on the mound?
Definitely a little confidence booster. Haven't always thrown that hard, just kind of matured into it. But I mean, it's a nice compliment to have.
Mm-hmm. So on the radar, couple of spring training, hit 98, 99, couple hundreds. You consistently hitting 100 this year?
We'll see. Hopefully the off-season training program will help out with that. But trying to throw strikes, trying to stay around the zone, attack hitters. But whatever happens, happens.
And what does the training look like to throw triple digits?
It's a lot of weight training, a lot of moving heavy weight fast, a lot of sprint work, agility work, just kind of getting more athletic, just kind of covering all the bases.
So I see you won a St. Louis Cardinals minor league pitcher of the year. How does that make you feel on the mound?
It's good. I mean, it's good to have like all my hard work validated and stuff like that. I mean, I couldn't have done it without the staff there with the Cardinals in Springfield, my teammates behind me. But I mean, it was good. It was nice to have a good year, have a little success, just have it build on it for this year.
So what are your goals this year, moving up in the league?
I would love to start with the big league team, but out of spring training. But wherever the Cardinals want to place me to start the year, it's fine with me. Just going to go there, do my thing, and hopefully I'll make it to the big leagues at some point this year.
Yes, sir. And what are your goals for the organization?
I mean, obviously you want to win the World Series. I mean, that's every year the Cardinals go out and their focus is the playoffs. That's when their season starts, and then the end goal is World Series.
Mm-hmm. And so in a funny interview, I think it was on like a YouTube podcast, you said you had an interesting pregame breakfast and lunch. What does that look like?
So during the season in Springfield, there's one IC Bowl place that I'd always go to for my pregame meal because it wasn't not too heavy, kind of healthy. It was good, like middle ground. It tasted good, and ended up pitching well after eating it. So why not keep going there? Right?
All right, and that's all the questions I got. My name is Demetri Lloyd. I'm with MSSU. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
I'm Haley Smith. I'm a student here at Missouri State Southern University. And today, here in Joplin, we have Alan Venice, former Cardinals player. Alan, how was the trip down here?
It's been fine so far. We all get to ride in a nice bus and get to kind of know each other a little bit better and had some nice visits yesterday, so everything's going well.
Okay, so obviously I heard you have a history of baseball, but what inspired you to play baseball?
Well, we grew up in a family where that's what we did. We went out and played whatever sport was in season. We played soccer and football and baseball, basketball. All the kids did, and we just my parents were really good at getting us to all the practices and games, and we all enjoyed it and just kept going with it.
All right. So, did you have a before game routine, or did you have any suspicions or a lucky item you would have before every game?
I didn't have a specific lucky item, but I did have somewhat of a routine that I kind of would follow. And for instance, as a starting pitcher, one of the things I remember doing quite a bit was thinking about if I had a really good start, the next time out, I would think back to what meals I ate, when I ate them, that sort of thing, and I try and replicate that to see if it, actually helped or didn't help. And then, I might ride that a few starts, and then I might not have as good a start, and so I just kind of start over. So nothing specific, but we all are superstitious to an extent, and kind of try and follow the same routine if things are going well.
All right. During the games, what was your go-to pitch that you would pitch every game that no hitter could hit?
Well, I didn't have one that they could never hit, but I had both my fastball and slider were my two primary pitches that were my go-to pitches. And, they didn't always work, but they worked the majority of the time.
Okay, out of all the games you played as a Cardinal, which one was the most memorable?
The most memorable, I guess, would be we were in San Diego. It was a year that my brother and I were both on the same team, and he started the game and threw the first 6 innings, and then I came in out of the bullpen to relieve him, and took the ball out of his hand and then took over from there. That was a special thing that doesn't happen very often in baseball.
With that being said, you played with your brother. What was it like playing with your older brother?
It was great. It was something that just kind of happened, and we, I was drafted by the Cardinals and came through the system, and we signed him as a free agent, and we pitched together for parts of 3 or 4 seasons, and it's hard to describe. I mean, it's just one of those things that it was so unimaginable that it would happen, and then when it did, it just was a great experience for both of us that we'll always cherish.
All right, and my last question is, why did you want to continue your baseball journey with the St. Louis Cardinals?
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals is a special organization, much different from all the other organizations, and it's really more of a family-type environment, and that comes from the ownership, the front office, the way they treat players, the way they take care of players is special. It also comes from a desired goal within the organization to compete every year, and that's something that's different than most other organizations out there.
Well, thank you for coming today. I'm Haley Smith, and thank you for watching.
I'm Molly Hoover. Today I'm here with Zach Thompson. He made his big league debut with the St. Louis Cardinals as a pitcher in 2022. Zach, it's so nice to have you here in Joplin. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
It's neat to come to Joplin for the first time.
We're glad you're here. So Zach, tell me, what was your favorite part about last season, making your debut with the Cardinals?
That's a tough one. There were a lot of good moments. It obviously started with my debuting at Wrigley, which was, growing up as a Cubs fan. Wrigley was, where I watched all my games every night on TV. So that was really cool, debuting against that team. And then, to do it with a team with so much history. The Cardinals are one of the best organizations in baseball, and of all seasons. You know, we've got Albert Pujols, we've got Yachty and Waino breaking records. Being around those guys every day was something special. And then you got Goldie and Nato in an MVP race. So ended up, you know, the playoffs didn't end the way we wanted, but to achieve all those things in my first season, be around all those guys was so much fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds like such a good season for you. So you said you were a Cubs fan growing up. How does your family feel about you being with the Cardinals?
Everybody loves it. You know, things obviously changed in June of 2019, but you know, it was easy for me growing up in Indiana. They were the hometown team, and with WGN they were on every night, and the Cardinals weren't. So I think that kind of shaped my fandom as a child.
So you mentioned Waino, Yachty, and Pujols. What was it like working with them last season?
It's unbelievable. You know, you're around the masters of the game. You know, Albert's one of 4 guys to ever hit 700 homers. You know, Yachty and Waino did something that's never been done before. Just getting to pick those guys' brains, getting to just see how they work, how they go about their business. You know, Albert was the first guy to the field every day, and that really has an impact on younger guys.
Love that guy. So I did see that you got a start last year. Do you prefer starting or relieving?
You know, I just take the ball whenever they call my name. Traditionally, I've always been a starter, and then you know, you get called up and they tell you they need you in the bullpen, so that's what you do, and I love it. I feel like I've found a home there. I'm definitely open to still starting, to still relieving. You know, I'm just a pitcher at the end of the day.
Awesome. So I noticed that you did get drafted in 2016 by Tampa Bay, but you opted to play at Kentucky, and then you got drafted in the first round in 2019 by the Cardinals. So what advice would you have for college baseball players who are looking to play affiliated ball one day?
Yeah, just trust your process. You know, everybody's different. Everybody hits their peak at different times. Guys mature at different times. Coming out of high school, personally, I wanted to sign, and it didn't work out. And I went to school and learned that school was the right route for me. You know, I got a really good head start on my degree. I got to play in the SEC, which selfishly I think is the best league in baseball. Getting to be around those players, those coaches, around those systems, you know, school-wise, and I think it's just huge for guys to develop. You know, take those 3 years.
So do you have a moment from last season that you'll cherish forever?
A lot of them. You know, obviously the debuts up there, being in LA in the bullpen, watching Albert hit 699 and 700, you know, watching Albert, Yachty, and Waino come off together after their last start, going to the playoffs. There's just it gives me chills just thinking about it. There were so many cool moments. It was an awesome season.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about the fan base at Busch Stadium and the atmosphere compared to other places, like when you were on the road and traveled?
Yeah, it's funny. So coming up in the Cardinals organization, they always tell you, you know, Cardinals fans are the best fans in baseball. And I think as a minor leaguer, you just kind of think, okay, every team tells you that. And then, you know, the first time playing at Busch Stadium, it's a lot. You know, you walk in and you see there's red everywhere, and everybody knows who you are. Everybody is rooting for you. You know, they're not fair weather fans. And then you go to some of these other parks, and you know, you might see a few thousand people there, and they're just kind of there just to see a game. And Cardinals fans are really passionate, and they truly are the best fans in baseball.
All right, Zach. Well, we appreciate having you here in Joplin. It was so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Go Cards.
Go Cards.
I'm Lisa Allegas here at the Cardinals Caravan with Lars Nootbaar. Thank you for being here. You're such a star of the Cardinals. We welcome you to Joplin. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having us.
So you have had 2 seasons with the Cardinals. You're a rising star. You know, I was at a game August 2nd last year, and I was there. You couldn't help but being part of the crowd that yelled, "Noot!" What is it like to hear the crowd saying your name?
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, anytime I step to the plate and, you know, they're screaming my name like that, it gives me energy, you know, makes me excited. So super thankful for the fans and the environment there at Busch Stadium. I definitely don't take it for granted. It's awesome.
So you've been there 2 seasons. Is there any one certain player that has helped you in your training?
Yeah, I would say Nolan Arenado. I think he's been a big influence on me. We met last year, 2021, and he's kind of taken me under his wing. You know, I've kind of watched him train, you know, he's kind of helped me, you know, go about hitting it and things like that. And so being able to have a role model like that on the team, it's a pretty big advantage for me, I'd say.
So I've watched you play, and it's amazing. You often rob people of home runs.
What do you do in training to leap that high?
Yeah, I just try to, that's a lot of off-season stuff, making sure I'm staying athletic, lifting weights, doing lower body, different stuff like that. But also just kind of playing the game like I did in Little League, trying to play as hard as I can, trying to make as many plays as I can for the team, help the guys win. If that's me leaping over the fence or doing something like that, that's what I'll do.
You hit some homers. You also hit a lot of RBIs. For young players out there, what advice do you give them when you're up on the plate and there's that pressure to hit, to bring somebody home?
Yeah, I would just say, make sure you're selective. Get a good pitch that you can hit. Just don't go up there trying to swing at anything. Make sure that you go up there with a plan. You find something that you like and swing. The game gets difficult the higher level you go, but it stays the same too. Just make sure you're having fun, get a good pitch to hit, and take a good swing at it.
So, are you nervous when you're up there? What advice would you give to players in general, for their passion of baseball?
Yeah, I think just embrace the moment. Obviously, when you're playing at Busch Stadium, there's a lot of fans there, but just like when I was in Little League, I'd feel the same way. My parents and friends are in the stands too. It's the same pressure. You just got to kind of embrace that moment and understand that you've worked hard and you've practiced hard and you're playing baseball. It's supposed to be fun. So you want to embrace those kind of moments and make them fun and kind of lighthearted and like I said, just enjoy it. There's going to be some nerves and stuff like that, but that's natural. I think as long as you have fun, you'll do all right.
You've played with some really greats, Waino, Yachty, and then you're part of a 17-game winning streak. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. I've been very, very fortunate early in my career to be able to play like you said with Yachty, Waino, Albert, Nolan, Goldie, last year Lester. I've just been very, very fortunate to play with legends in the game, and so trying to take bits and pieces from them, but also enjoy the moments that I have with those guys. They're kind of like my role models growing up, and now I get to play with them. It's pretty cool.
Well, so who are those role models? I was growing up, Ozzie Smith was my Golden Glove champ. Loved Ozzie. He was kind of a great personality. Who did you look up to as a kid? You know what? It's funny. I actually, me and my buddies, we play wiffle ball, and we'd always do like the Albert Pujols stance. And so being able to play with him last year was pretty incredible. He was such a good, he still is such a good man, but such a good teammate. Role model, Christian, father, husband, everything like that. And so Albert, for me, it was kind of that guy, and to be able to play with him, not on a video game in real life, is pretty cool. So you are one of those players who often grabs the mic and does interviews with your teammates. What do you think is the best question to ask? What would you want to ask? Yeah, I would just, it's got to be a spur of the moment type of thing. It's got to come off the cuff. You don't really know exactly what you're going to say. You get, you know how it is. You kind of bounce off some ideas, see what their personality's like, their energy. But no, yeah, I kind of try to keep it loose in the clubhouse with the guys, and I think they enjoy it a little bit. Okay, lastly, there's talk everywhere about a Newt bar, a candy bar, named after you. It makes sense. It kind of rolls off the tongue. Where are we at on that? Do you have a contract yet? Yeah, no, we've had some offers. We fielded some offers, but no, nothing official yet. I think, we're still in the process. I've said it before. I need some taste testers, so anybody willing to taste the Newt bar, we got to make sure the people like it. So nothing official yet, but we're working on something. Favorite ingredients, if your name's going to be on it? Yeah, I know. I think we got to keep it somewhat healthy, unfortunately. Maybe we'll do an unhealthy, healthy version. So maybe a little dark chocolate and maybe some milk chocolate on the other one. So, yeah, I'm excited for it, though, for sure. Very excited. Well, we're so glad to have you. Thank you for joining us, and we're welcoming Lars Newt Bar to MSSU. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. That's our show. We leave you with more moments from the Cardinals Caravan 2023. Thanks for watching.